Friends, buddies, pals, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. Yes, another Friday filler. Lots of people asking what rods I use, what weights, what actions. Sorry I haven't answered you guys sooner, but I kind of saved it all up and I'm going to tell you all about it today. Before we get into exactly what rods I use and like and recommend and dig and enjoy, whatever, let me break it down to simple stuff for you. So if you're just starting to fish, you're just getting into fly fishing, don't go out and spend a heap of money on a rod and a reel. You're better off spending money on a good fly line and then buying a lower end of the range rod and reel. I'll tell you why, because you're not gonna get the best out of a very good rod and reel to start with. Starting to learn is all about making mistakes, treating your gear badly, smacking tungsten bead flies into your rod tip, point loading your rod, not having great skills, and therefore your rod and your reel are gonna get trashed. Now I get a lot of people asking me what rods I recommend for them to use. And it's very hard to tell anybody what rod is best for them because it all comes down really to what kind of water you fish. Is it rivers, is it lakes? Are they big rivers, small rivers? Are the fish big, are the fish small? Like all these questions you need to answer first and then you can pick a rod accordingly. So for example, say I'm fishing a big river, I might be doing some long casts using long leaders, maybe heavy flies, maybe indicators. There's a potential for wind, there's always a potential for big fish. Then maybe that 6-weight is going to be a better option for me for that little bit more power to deal with all of those things. Whereas if the next day I'm fishing a small stream, I can get away with a nice soft action 5-weight because I'm not doing those longer casts, those big men's. I probably won't be needing big heavy indicator rigs. Still handle a long leader because the rig will be potentially lighter. It can deal with it a bit better. I still have enough backbone in that rod to deal with a bigger fish. So if you're looking for one rod, look at the water you're going to be fishing most and pick a rod for that. So that'll be my first piece of advice. Think about the water you're going to be fishing, think about the fish you're going to be catching, and then pick a rod according to that. Let's say most of the time you're going to be fishing on a big river, there's potential for wind, long casts, maybe you're going to be fishing deeper water, so you're going to be using heavier flies, longer leaders, indicators, you know, just bigger, more cumbersome rigs. So I would probably then go straight to this guy, the Helios 3 6-weight D. So the 6-weight just got that little bit more grunt, and the D, which stands for distance, which is a little bit more powerful. So it's a little bit of a faster action rod. Now, if you don't know, if you hear people talking about fast action rods, basically a fast action rod is a stiffer rod. So it takes more power, more weight, and more effort to get it to bend. You'll also hear the term load. Loading a rod is just making it bend. If you don't make the rod bend, you're not generating any force, you're not going to get any line speed, you're not going to have a very good cast. It's going to take more power to get this to perform, but it's going to basically give you a lot more power and a lot more line speed and a lot more energy. If you're going to be fishing big stuff, throwing big stuff, something bigger like this would be my first choice. The good thing about that is even though it's got the extra power, it's still soft enough in the tip you could throw a dry fly really nicely. We've also got the H3 6-weight in an F, great rod. Now, so you still have the power of a 6-weight, but because it's the F model, which means finesse, it's a bit softer. So a softer action rod, it's not quite so stiff, doesn't take as much force and power to get this thing to load. So a little bit more suitable for maybe smaller water, medium-sized rivers. If you're going to be primarily dry dropper fishing, not really so much heavy nymphing, this maybe is what you'd choose over this guy here. You know, if there's a good chance you're going to be doing a lot of dry dropper fishing, maybe fishing light nymph rigs, this might be the guy you want to go for. A lot easier to load at short range, you know, when you don't have much fly line out. You can still fish real heavy rigs, indicators, long leaders, because there's enough grunt in this because of the 6-weight. Brilliant rod. Been loving this recently. Now, when it comes to the 5-weights, it's basically the same theory behind that, except you just scale down the water. You'd be thinking about it in the same way, but with the 5-weights, you'd be looking at smaller to medium-sized rivers predominantly, right? So the 5-weight D, it's a stiffer rod, it takes a little bit more to load, it's a bit more grunty, and it will still present a dry fly pretty nicely, but again, if I was going to be fishing maybe dry dropper on that particular day or that particular water, I'd get Frank here, which is the 5-weight F. and I'd probably choose that instead. So basically think about the river and the fish and the kind of fishing you're going to be doing and just work backwards from there. Putting all those things together, it's so much information. This is why if you've got a good local tackle shop, just go and have a yarn with those guys. Tell them what you're thinking, tell them what you want to be doing, tell them what kind of water you're going to be fishing, tell them what kind of fish you want to be catching, and tell them how you're going to be fishing for it mostly. And let them help you decide where to spend your money and what kind of rods, reels and lines to get and put together. Nothing beats time on the water. You can have the best gear in the world. If you don't fish, you're not going to get any good at using it. Get on the water and fish, make mistakes, practice, learn, fish, 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 fish. All right, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment in the comment section below, and if you haven't subscribed, hit the button, join the team, help me grow the channel. That would be awesome. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll see you on Tuesday. We'll go for a fish. See you on the next one.